Our worked examples now for 9E with fractions. So for this one as well, make sure that you're listening out for that bonus word that you need to be writing. So complete the following showing which operation was used. Remember that the same operation must be used for both sides. So if we have a look at this first one, we have a letter divided by a number of 13. So we have to undo that division. So what we do instead is we multiply by that same number. And what I do to one side, I have to do the other. So I end up that divided by 3 and multiply by 3, they actually cancel each other out. So imagine that's not here now. All I'm left with is P, and then I've got 2 times 13, which gives me 26, and I've got my solution because I've got P, which is my letter, equals my number. On to my second one here. I have, again, the first step has already been done for me, which is nice, but I'll show you how it all works. So I've got x over 10 plus 3, we can say equals 5. So the first thing we do is we get rid of this addition, and we use, so to undo that addition, we subtract from both sides. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. So if I'm following that along, I minus 3 on both sides, plus 3 and minus 3, they cancel each other out. So I end up just with x over 10, and 5 minus 3 gives me 2. Now for this next step, I want to get rid of this divided by 10. I want to get rid of the division. The way I do that is I multiply by that number. So I do the reverse operation and I use this number on the bottom. So I multiply now by 10 on both sides. Again, this will cancel out with this. I end up with just x. Now 2 times 10 gives me 20. When you write this out, it'll equal 20 equals x. We need to rewrite it with our letter equaling our number. On to our next one. So solve the following equations systematically. So with these, what I have done is I've highlighted which part you look at first. So again, anything on this top, you can't touch until you get rid of what's on the bottom. If there's something else added next to it, you get rid of that first too. So for this one, I've got divided by 3. I have to undo that division. And the way I do that is I multiply by 3 on both sides. And see how I've written it? I've put my the part of the equation for each here. Oh, apologies. I've just realized that I have made a typo. I will fix that. So don't worry too much about this one. But I have 4z divided by 3 multiplied by 3. These two cancel each other out. Then I have, let's fix it since we're here. We have 16 multiplied by 3. So 16 multiplied by 3 on my lovely little calculator because it's way too late to remember what things are at this point. So 16 multiplied by 3 actually gives us 48. So now I've got here, that one will make a lot more sense now. Let me just quickly fix this. Apologies, gents. That'll be a much nicer number. There we go. Okay, back to it. So I have 4z divided by 3 to undo that division. I multiply by 3 on both sides. These two cancel each other out. I end up with 4z equaling 16 times 3, which is 48. Now I have 4z by itself here. So this means 4 multiplied by z. So I now have to divide it. So if I divide on one side, I divide on the other side, and I end up with the 4 and the 4 cancelling out. So I end up with z equaling 48 divided by 4, which gives me 12. Next one over here, I have 2z divided by 9 equals 4. So first thing I'm going to have to do is undo this division. So I undo it by doing multiplication, and what I do to one side, absolutely do the other. These two will cancel out, so I end up with 2z, and then 2 times 9 gives me 18. Next thing I can see, I need to get rid of the 2 in front of the z, so I have to undo my multiplication, and I do that by dividing. What I do to one side, I do to the other, so 2z divided by 2, so those two cancel each other out. And then I've got 18 divided by 2, which is 9. And again, I've got my letter equaling my number. Okay, last two. So we, again, similar to the ones before, again, you're after 2 steps. So the first one I can see here is if I am looking at the reverse of BODMAS, which means I have So BODMAS, so SAMDOB. So any subtraction or any addition I deal with first. So I can see here I have an addition, so I have to undo that first, okay? So if I have plus 3, I want to undo it. I do minus 3 to both sides. So plus 3 and minus 3 cancel each other out. I just end up with this a over 6, or a divided by 6, and 6 minus 3 gives me 3. Next thing I have, I now am left with a over 6, or a divided by 6 equals 3. I need to get rid of this divided by 6, and to undo that division, I multiply. So what I do to one side, I do the other. So I'm going to now end up just with a, because these two cancel each other out. So a equals 3 times 6, which is 18. Now your bonus word, write it down. Your bonus word is a favorite color. It is purple. So your bonus word for this video is purple. See the color here on the screen? Purple. Last question. So I've got m divided by 4 minus 2 equals 7. Okay, so remember, we don't deal with that one first. We do any subtraction or addition first. So your first thing, you're going to add 2 to both sides because we're undoing that minus 2. Those two cancel each other out. I end up with m divided by 4. And then 7 plus 2 gives me 9. Now I have to undo this divided by 4. So I multiply by 4 on both sides. Remember, what I do to one side, I do the other. These two are going to cancel each other out. I just end up with m here. And then 9 times 4 is 36. On to your questions now.